Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1451.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about the January stock market indicator, because last time we talked about the Santa Claus rally and how that didn't look so good for an indicator for the entire year. But don't worry, that's just one indicator of three important indicators that are looked at around the January time horizon. First, we have the Santa Claus rally, which is the last week of December plus the first 2 trading days of January. And that's what I mentioned last time. We had a negative return. So typically, when it's negative, that doesn't portend a positive year for us. The second indicator that is looked at is the first full week of trading in January, and that too was a negative week. So that also doesn't portend a positive year for 2025. However, the good news is there's 3 indicators, and the third indicator is what happens during the first full month of performance in January. So we have several weeks to see how that turns out and see if we have positive performance after all. Now, the good news is last year we had a negative Santa Claus rally return, and we had a negative first year January week return, and we still had a 23% positive return in the S&P 500. So we have to take these things with a grain of salt. Last week, the S&P 500 finished the week down 0.48%, so about 0.5%, while the Dow lost 0.6% and the NASDAQ was down 0.51%. Mark Hackett, chief market strategist at Nationwide Financial, said generally these are the days that you kind of have people just moving to the sidelines after what's been a pretty tough last 4 weeks. And the fact that today you're not seeing that means that perhaps this is an orderly type of consolidation, not a beginning of some sort of incredibly painful period. Yeah, I have to agree with that. We had this exuberance that happened after the election, and we're just seeing a natural consolidation and profit taking, which is normal after a time like that. We also had the end of the year where people tend to buy and sell for tax reasons. And in general, people would be more inclined to sell to take losses to be able to deduct on their taxes or to match against gains. And so more selling than usual often occurs. Now, in order to look ahead, we have to see what the companies are telling us about their earnings. More than 1/5 of companies, or 106 in the S&P 500, have so far issued some type of fourth quarter earnings guidance, so they're telling us about their future, and 67% of those have been negative, which is more than is usual for the 5-year average where 57% might be negative, and the 10-year average where 62% might be negative. So 67% is a little bit higher than normal. And companies issuing positive guidance that their earnings will be better than expected is below the 5 and 10-year average. Now, we're starting to hear some of Wall Street come out very bullish in their forecasts for 2025. According to UBS's David Lefkowitz, he said, "We expect the bull market to continue with the S&P 500 reaching 6,600 by the end of the year, primarily driven by healthy profit growth of about 9%. His price target implies about a 12.5% increase from Thursday's close. He said changes in trade policy under President-elect Trump, fiscal battles in Congress, inflation, and the outlook for artificial intelligence could all spur volatility in the coming year. But as long as corporate America puts up the numbers, stocks should respond favorably," he said. So these indicators of the Santa Claus rally or the first week of trading in January or the first full month performance in January are just indicators that have been used over time but aren't 100% accurate. And as I said earlier, we did have a negative Santa Claus indicator and a negative first week of trading last year as well, and we still finished the S&P up 23% after being up 24% in 2023. So 2 strong years of back-to-back, more than double average performance for the S&P 500. Last year, after the negative Santa Claus rally and the first full week being down, January gained about 1.6%. So that was the best indicator to use that we were going to have an up year last year. So we'll be watching that January indicator and make note of what the performance is in that first month of trading. The full month of January performance indicator tends to be the most accurate, as it was last year. So we'll keep an eye on what happens this January, what our numbers look like, see if we have a positive return, and what that portends for this year. My bet is we're going to have another positive year in the S&P 500. And because this is the 5th year of the decade, the decennial cycle, that usually means that we do have a positive year in stocks, bonds, real estate, interest rates, digital assets, just about everything. In my opinion, it should be a very good year. If you're thinking about your finances for next year, and making some important decisions about who's going to be guiding you in those finances, consider joining the Be Wealthy and Smart VIP Experience, my personal investing insight group. Members of the VIP Experience join once and then have lifetime access to invest with me for years to come. It includes monthly live webinars with me with live Q&A for me to answer questions, an asset allocation model for your stock portfolio, so you know exactly what to invest in with symbols and what percentages to invest. And in addition, we offer a full crypto portfolio of cryptocurrencies to invest in, as well as private equity. So companies before they have an IPO or initial public offering. Buying them as a private business can often be a very lucrative investment if you're an accredited investor. We also have our own tech team. So we have individuals that can help you one-on-one to get you unstuck from any crypto situation you might find yourself in, whether that's setting up a wallet, transferring crypto, getting your first purchases made on exchanges, setting up limit orders. Our tech team is there to help you. We also have a private Facebook group where I interact many times a day with people and share articles, updates, market commentary, and interact with the greater VIP community. If this is something that is of interest to you, check out our limited time offer in the show notes below.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.